15 reasons why the British royal family has more power than you think. The British monarchy today is often viewed as a decorative ceremonial institution with little real political power. However, while the royals are not outright rulers, the British crown retains and exerts significant sway in subtle but influential ways that often fly under the public's radar. The royal family still plays an active role in national affairs and governance through formal duties, special privileges, cultural influence, vast wealth, and global celebrity status. Many of the monarch's powers have simply become obscured by convention and protocol. So contrary to popular belief, the throne continues to wield considerable power and advantages with broad impacts. In this video, we'll pull back the curtain on the British monarchy and uncover some of the specific means by which the royal family exerts surprisingly extensive power, prestige, and privilege in the United Kingdom and on the global stage. Number 1. King's consent. The King's consent is a parliamentary procedure that requires the monarch's approval for any legislation affecting the interests of the crown. While largely ceremonial today, it provides a mechanism for the monarch to review and approve bills selectively before they're debated in Parliament, particularly if they pertain to royal prerogatives, hereditary revenues, or the Duchy of Cornwall. This opaque power came under scrutiny in 2013 when the Queen's consent was sought over a bill on property transparency that would have revealed details about the Duchy of Cornwall's investments, potentially exposing King Charles' private assets and finances. After revisions, the Queen ultimately granted consent to the bill. By withholding consent, the monarch can quietly veto a bill, underscoring the Crown's behind-the-scenes oversight of legislation. While rarely exercised to block bills, the King's consent serves as a reminder of the monarch's residual constitutional powers. Regardless of its practical application, the King's consent remains a significant symbol of the Crown's enduring authority within the British political system. Number 2. Access to intelligence. The British royal family's access to sensitive intelligence briefings over the decades is a closely guarded aspect of their constitutional role. As head of state, King Charles and senior royals are now granted high-level security clearance to receive confidential intelligence from agencies such as MI5, MI6, and GCHQ. This unprecedented access allows the monarchy to stay informed on matters of national security, international affairs, counterterrorism efforts, cyber threats, and more. While the specific scope and regularity of these briefings remain opaque, it's known that the King receives the government's red security boxes containing classified documents. The royals' intelligence privileges date back decades. During World War II, King George VI was kept appraised of British intelligence operations and war planning. More recently, the late Queen Elizabeth was reportedly given detailed briefings on intelligence in the lead-up to the Iraq War in 2003. Having this inside knowledge affords the monarchy significant soft power. It enables them to stay well-informed on strategic issues, have direct input in national security matters, and responsibly navigate the complex global environment. Number 3. Soft power in diplomacy. The royal family exercises substantial informal power through soft diplomacy efforts that extend beyond their constitutional duties. State visits, royal tours, banquets, jubilees, and receptions provide opportunities for the royals to strengthen the UK's diplomatic, cultural, and economic ties globally. With the media scrutinizing their every move, the royals act as informal ambassadors and representatives of Britain, shaping perceptions of the nation worldwide. Their interests and causes also influence how the UK is perceived internationally. Events like royal weddings also provide significant soft power boosts for the UK. Prince William and Princess Catherine's wedding in 2011 is estimated to have generated £2 billion in tourism revenues and publicity for Britain, showcasing the country's grandeur and cultural significance on a global stage. Through these various activities, the royals expand British influence and interests, leveraging their cultural capital and celebrity status to open doors and build relationships with foreign leaders, dignitaries, and the public. Their visits to Commonwealth nations, for example, help maintain important diplomatic connections and foster goodwill. Number 4. Cultural influence. The British royal family occupies a unique position as national figureheads, which means their actions, interests, and statements carry immense cultural symbolism. Over time, this can subtly shape public opinion, values, and social norms in ways that extend far beyond their formal political power. One notable example is the late Princess Diana's advocacy work, which helped reduce the stigma surrounding AIDS and leprosy. Her willingness to make physical contact with patients and draw attention to these issues challenged prevailing attitudes and popularized greater compassion and understanding. Similarly, her campaign to ban landmines brought global attention to the issue and contributed to the eventual adoption of the Mine Ban Treaty. King Charles himself, despite making only rare public statements so far in his reign, also wields significant moral authority. The monarch's ability to rally the nation during times of crisis, as demonstrated by the late Queen's message of reassurance during the COVID-19 pandemic, underscores the cultural power of the monarchy. Even without governing directly, the royal family's cultural example and advocacy gives them the ability to normalize some issues while stigmatizing others. In a sense, the royal family acts as a barometer of cultural values, reflecting and shaping public sentiment through their actions and choices. Number 5. Symbolic power in national identity. The British monarchy, with its centuries-long history, serves as a powerful symbol of continuity and stability and tradition within the nation. The late Queen Elizabeth in particular personified these cultural associations during her historic reign, binding the people together through her role as a national totem. The royals' frequent public appearances and ceremonial duties reinforce their symbolic significance, fostering a collective sense of identity and pride. During times of crisis or celebration, the King's addresses to the nation, such as her defiant speech during the London Blitz, provided reassurance, unity, and a sense of shared purpose. Sociologists have long recognized the monarch's capacity to serve as a focal point for constructing a collective national identity. The crown's symbolic power, while indirect, holds substantial intangible influence over the national psyche and morale. The monarchy's longevity and its association with enduring values like tradition and stability make it a potent symbol of national identity. The late Queen Elizabeth's presence at significant events and her role as a unifying figure during challenging times contributed to the perception of the crown as a bedrock of British society. King Charles now assumes this symbolic role as monarch, establishing his own identity as a unifying national symbol. Number 6. Economic clout through the Crown Estate. The Crown Estate is a vast property portfolio owned by the British monarch but managed independently on behalf of the nation. Its assets, valued at over £14 billion, generate substantial annual revenues that support the monarchy and contribute to the national budget. The estate's diverse holdings span the United Kingdom, including prime real estate in major cities like London's iconic Regent Street. It also owns iconic venues such as Ascot Racecourse and offshore assets like wind farms. These profitable assets generate significant income, with profits split between the Treasury and King Charles' own income through the sovereign grant. While the King's involvement does not directly profit from the estate, its performance directly impacts the financial well-being of the monarchy. This gives the monarch a degree of economic influence, as the royals benefit from the estate's success. The King also has a role in appointing board members and overseeing major deals, such as the recent £265 million purchase of a 50% stake in 12 regional malls and outlets. The Crown Estate's unique structure allows it to operate independently, but remain accountable to the monarchy and the nation. Its profits contribute to the Treasury and fund the King's official duties, ensuring the continued financial stability of the British monarchy. Number 7. Influence through Royal Charities. Royals patronize hundreds of charities annually, directing public attention and donations to chosen causes. For example, King Charles supports over 400 organizations, while Prince William focuses on homelessness, mental health, and conservation. Royals also create their own foundations, like Prince Harry's Invictus Games supporting wounded veterans. By highlighting specific issues, they can pressure government policy. Princess Diana's endorsement of banning landmines eventually led to the banning of landmines worldwide. Similarly, King Charles' advocacy for environmentalism shaped public awareness long before it became mainstream. Beyond publicity, The royals provide valuable networking opportunities via their charity events and galas attended by influential figures. Thus, royal patronage confers substantial influence on causes. Number 8. Amplification through global media. As one of the most globally recognized families, the British royals attract intense media scrutiny with their activities and statements broadcast worldwide. Royal weddings, for instance, transfix international audiences. Prince William and Princess Catherine's nuptials were watched by up to 3 billion people worldwide. This amplification gives the royals unparalleled reach. Offhand comments or casual remarks can shape perceptions among the public and officials. After Princess Diana discussed landmines in 1997, global coverage compelled policymakers to act. Similarly, Meghan and Harry's explosive 2021 interview with Oprah criticizing the monarchy rocked British society and damaged the crown's reputation by dominating international headlines for weeks. Thus, the global media's focus hands the royals disproportionate power through sheer amplification. Number 9. Religious influence in the Church of England. As supreme governor of the Church of England, King Charles wields symbolic authority and some administrative power. While not involved in theology, the king formally approves appointments of senior clergy like archbishops and bishops, giving him direct influence. New bishops kneel before the monarch to take an oath of loyalty. The crown's role as head of the church blends religion and state authority in ways not clearly separated. For instance, the Prime Minister recommends candidates for bishoprics, but the king can provide input. Additionally, the church authorizes special prayers and services for royal events like coronations. Despite its largely symbolic role, the monarch's tie with the Church of England gives a religious dimension to royal power. Number 10. Military symbolism as Commander-in-Chief. The monarch's constitutionally the Commander-in-Chief of Britain's armed forces. While not involved in strategy, King Charles confers ranks and honors to service members and formally approves military promotions of top officers. His authority is highly symbolic, emphasized through public appearances, reviewing troops and warships and parades and fleet reviews. The royals also patronize military charities and visit regiments to boost morale. While ceremonial, the monarchy's military associations nurture public reverence. The Queen's leadership during World War II, though only a princess then, strengthened these ties. Today, the royals' frequent presence at military commemorations and events serves as a powerful visual reinforcement of the crown's deep defense connections. Number 11. Unifying leadership of the Commonwealth. As head of the Commonwealth, King Charles has a unique leadership role within this association of 56 former British territories and colonies. The king's personal relationship with Commonwealth leaders, built over his long period as heir, provides stability and continuity even as governments change. His Commonwealth visits and celebrations like his coronation will foster cooperation. The 2018 Commonwealth Summit's theme towards a common future embodied the vision for its members. King Charles used his ceremonial speeches at these events to advocate for Commonwealth values of democracy, human rights, and sustainable development, subtly influencing policy discussions. Although the Commonwealth is only voluntary and symbolic, the monarch's role at its helm gives Britain soft power and reinforces cultural and economic bonds with member countries. Number 12. Influence through advocacy on social and environmental issues. Through patronages, speeches, and spotlighting causes, the royals focus attention on selected issues, shaping public opinion and government policy priorities. King Charles has been an early advocate for environmentalism, promoting organic farming and sustainability since the 1980s, before it entered the mainstream. King Charles' efforts led the UK government to eventually embrace ideas like organic school meats. Similarly, Princess Diana's highly publicized advocacy against landmines and HIV/AIDS stigma pressured politicians to address both issues legislatively. Prince William's mental health campaign and Harry's promotion of veterans' welfare have also heightened public awareness and government efforts on these concerns. While not overtly political, royals give moral weight to social and environmental issues. Number 13. Signifying power via Royal Ascent for laws. The requirement for King Charles to grant royal assent for legislation to formally become law illustrates the Crown's constitutional role in Britain's system of checks and balances. After being passed by Parliament, bills must receive the King's approval to gain the force of law. In practice, Royal Ascent has been consistently granted for centuries, but the need for it symbolizes the monarch's core position in the British legal system. By necessitating the sovereign's consent, it signifies that lawful authority historically flowed from the crown. While devoid of practical veto power now, the ceremony of Royal Ascent, conducted via elaborate letters patent signed by King Charles, makes visible the crown's fundamental privilege to affirm laws. This procedural formality, though symbolic today, underscores the monarchy's central place within the nation's legal framework and governing traditions. Number 14. Wielding influence through elite networks. The royal family cultivates personal friendships and relationships with foreign dignitaries, heads of state, business tycoons, celebrities, and other elites worldwide. These extensive high society connections serve as informal communication channels, facilitating soft power and diplomacy independent of formal diplomats. Leaders frequently visit the royals privately during UK trips, providing diplomatic backchannels enabling discreet influence on public policy and business deals. The royals also move into societal circles with the wealthy, like vacationing with oligarchs. Their elite contacts offer privileged access to people in power. Partnerships with multinational firms like Jaguar Land Rover further business interests. King Charles and other royal family members' formidable networks confer considerable influence, allowing them to shape events and advance British interests through informal channels. Their ability to build relationships at the highest level of society gives them a unique platform to exercise soft power on a global scale. Number 15. Shaping public sentiment and morale after impactful national events. During times of national crisis, celebration, or mourning, the royal family's presence, sentiments, and conduct have significant power to direct the public mood and provide reassurance. Late Queen Elizabeth's televised address during the pandemic offered comfort to a nation grappling with unprecedented challenges. Her words carried weight, reflecting the monarchy's ability to guide public sentiment during uncertain times. The royals' participation in events like Remembrance Day, Jubilee celebrations, or the London Olympics promotes social cohesion and stability. Their presence reinforces a sense of shared identity and purpose, creating a unifying force. Moments of turmoil like Princess Diana's death and funeral saw King Charles' response to national grief closely scrutinized. His eventual appearance in London and poignant tribute helped channel public emotion. In these moments, the crown's influence over the national psyche peaks, shaping the collective experience and guiding emotional responses. While the royals may not have absolute authority, they still hold privileged positions that grant them the subtle yet substantial ability to shape politics, culture, foreign relations, and national events behind the scenes. Do you think the British monarchy still holds real power, or are they just ceremonial figureheads? What surprised you the most about the crown's reach? Do you think the royals should retain their influence or be reduced to symbolic status? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share this video if you found it interesting. Subscribe for more video content like this. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye.